Pyramids are the last man standing among the 7 ancient wonders of the world. Ancient Egypt stretched as far as north as Syria and as far south as Sudan. As far as the agricultural aspect goes for the Egyptians, the Nile River shaped the way the Egyptians would live because the Egyptian communities only existed along the Nile River. This made it extremely easy to go across, as the Nile River would often flood and leave many of the Egyptians to find out how to irrigate their crops, and would often just throw their seeds on the ground and let their animals walk all over it. There were 3 time periods that held the most significance towards the Egyptians, with the first time period being the Old Kingdom. This time period was most influential because structures like the Great Pyramid were built alongside with the Sphinx of Giza and many temples for the gods they worshipped. Following this time period would be the Middle Kingdom. This kingdom still had significance but wasn't as important as the others. The only thing that happened here was they restored the rule and they made new gods to worship by combining gods. The last kingdom on the list would be the New Kingdom, which was just as influential as the Old Kingdom. In the New Kingdom, the civilization looked more like an empire around this time. The expansion of Egypt also happened in this period, as the female ruler established a series of trade networks that would allow Egypt to expand their boundaries further. This doesn't mean that the rulers previously weren't working on expanding their boundaries, but the difference with this female ruler was that she expanded her boundaries by less harmful means. As the previous rulers were all males, they used brute force to acquire land. However, this peace would not last, as there was tension rising between 2 empires alongside the border. These battles would eventually lead to the first world's known peace treaty. The era of the Egyptians was one of the most influential time periods, as countries all over the world have continuously learned from the Egyptians. And the Egyptians were doing this thousands of years ago for people to keep on learning from them to this day. As history has depicted over and over again, the whitewashing of the history will forever remain, as historians will always rewrite the history to favor their country. A quote I like to think about by W.E.B. Du Bois was that oftentimes there is an iron curtain casted over the history of one's nation. I feel like Europe tried to do this because it wasn't common for someone or for a civilization to surpass the Europeans, and how Egyptian was doing this with no technological advances like Europeans had. Europe did not like the idea and would eventually lie in their history tellings. I feel like the story of the African continent can be closely related to the Egyptians' problem, as Africans are facing the exact same thing. The Europeans are just known for taking other people's cultures and appropriating them into theirs.